Wake up at Holiday Inn Express to a can't-miss breakfast that's free with every stay. Count on all the hot, fresh coffee you need and an incredible breakfast buffet that has something for everyone, like eggs, cinnamon rolls, and even hot, fresh pancakes with all the toppings you crave. Next time, do yourself a favor and stay at a Holiday Inn Express with a can't-miss breakfast that's free with every stay. So, when you wake up at Holiday Inn Express, you'll wake up happy, a part of IHG Hotels and Resorts.
Did you miss your deadline to renew your Medicaid coverage? You can still send your completed annual review form to Healthy Connections Medicaid. You may be assigned to another health plan, but you can ask to come back to First Choice within 60 days of renewed Medicaid eligibility. It's your family. It's your choice. First Choice is the right choice. Renew and choose us. Visit selecthealthofsc.com/renew to learn more.
Welcome to Pretty Lies and Alibis. Join us as we seek the truth and travel the long road to justice. Hi, everybody. Welcome to a new episode and a new series here in Pretty Lies and Alibis. I'm Gigi Fruit Loop. What you know?
I know that, did you know, all swans in England belong to the Queen.
Oh, my goodness. I did not know that.
Any unclaimed swans that are found swimming in the open waters of England and Wales are automatically hers. It was a law established and originated in the medieval times when swans were a delicacy for the wealthy.
Wow. That's cool. You know, so many people in our comments love your random facts, and I do too. I learn something every day.
I've never heard anybody eating a swan, though. Them things are mean, man.
Yeah, they are. So just real quick, on the live the other night, we had a bit of a delay on my end, and I have fixed it, but I apologize for talking over you. Was not meant to be. So anyways, we're going to get started because we have a lot. Guys, so what we decided, and we've talked about this for a while now, we are starting literally at birth from Lori to Chad, and we're going to go forward to everything we know now, incorporating court hearings, probable cause affidavits, preliminary hearings, just everything. It has been a booger. I'm just going to tell you right now, 12 to 14 hours a day for over a week sitting here, because here's the thing. In the very beginning of our podcast, we didn't have a good system of doing our notes. And so we lost like 6 months of notes. So guess what?
Did we even have notes? I don't even remember.
We did, but we've felt our way through this, and I think we have a good system now, and I'm excited to start this because, and here's the thing, guys, if you have friends who you try to talk to about this case and they're like, I have no clue who this is, who that is, we just put up a new YouTube video that explains just really quickly who's who, and if your friends or family want to get the whole story from the very beginning, send them this podcast because we are starting and going straight through. It's going to be a good resource. We probably will finish this around the time it's time for trial because there's so much stuff. So we're going to start in the very early years. So in 1968, Chad Daybell is born in Provo, Utah. He is the oldest of 5 children. Then in June 26, 1973, Lori is born in San Bernardino, California. So she attends high school in Rialto, California at Eisenhower High School, and she's on the cheer squad, and she's what you call the flyer, which is the person that you toss up in the air. And
I was never that person.
Yeah. The one time my daughter cheered, she was the flyer, and at the end of that, I was like, she's not flying no more. I could just picture her landing on her head. But what's interesting is Lori's parents didn't really come to her cheer competitions, according to high school friends. So a high school friend of Lori's talked to Inside Edition shortly after Lori was arrested in February of 2020. And she said during cheer tryouts, Lori just clicked immediately with all of the other girls, and they all become really close friends. And she said that Lori, on one hand, was really quiet, but she was also hilarious, sweet, and friendly. And so it seems like Lori's house was kind of the hangout house in high school. You know, we all had one of those. Yep. And they would swim. Her family was really welcoming to her friends. And she said the family were very devout Mormons. and that Lori would actually attend religious classes in the morning before school, which not a lot of kids did. But she didn't talk about her religion too much. Lori got good grades. She talked about going to BYU after graduation. And she was a late bloomer in the dating department. You wouldn't know it with her 5 husbands, but she didn't start dating until her senior year in high school, according to her friends. Now, her family, we're not going to get too much into their back drama, but her dad just really essentially had this theory that he didn't have to pay taxes. And so he actually wrote a book, How the American Public Can Dismantle the IRS. And her dad would actually draft up legal documents and would use Esquire after his name. And so the state bar sent him a cease and desist letter. And they just owed a lot in back taxes that he fought and didn't feel like he owed. Which, you kind of start thinking responsibility wise from an early age. Clearly, Lori's parents were saying, hey, this is the law. I ain't got to follow it.
Yeah.
Here's a little insight,
Yep.
So in August of 1985, Chad was 17 and he was a rising senior in high school. So he and some friends went on a trip to Flaming Gorge Reservoir in Utah. And Chad and his friends liked to jump off of cliffs into the water. And so while he was there, Chad saw a cliff that was about 60 feet high and he jumped. He said he felt like it was slamming into concrete and he saw a white flash of light. He felt a pop in his head and thought he had broke his neck. And he said he realized his spirit was out of his body.
So his physical body went deeper into the water, but his spirit his knees got stuck and didn't make it all the way out. He looked around and saw an endless white plain in all directions. As his body got close to the surface, his spirit was sucked back into place. And if y'all remember, I had to read all this before, so
you'll never let us forget.
Yeah, I know, right? A friend jumped in to bring him to shore, and Chad told him something snapped when I hit the water. I'm done for the day. He said after that day, he was a changed person. He doesn't remember talking to anyone in the white light, but he began to devour church-related books, scriptures, and the works of several authors, some of which seemed to be controversial. He said he had a strong impression he would need this information later in life. He said when he hit the water, he thinks his personal veil was torn open and didn't seal up properly. He became receptive to sensing spirits, feeling promptings and impressions. He said this helped him steer clear of people and situations that may have led him into trouble.
Yeah, well, Chad, Lori Vallow's coming.
Look out. He would get glimpses about his future. The question there is, did he see prison coming? He said the glimpses were annoying but tolerable. 8 years later, he had another water experience that really threw the barn doors open on his interaction with the other side. In July 15, 1987 to 1989, he serves his Spanish-speaking mission in Morristown, New Jersey. Chad says his post-mission plans included staying single for a long time to get through school, but 15 days after arriving home, he met Tammy at a singles ward volleyball game.
Yep. So as school started, Chad needed a job, and Tammy told him there was an opening for a part-time cemetery worker. He took it because the schedule was flexible, and also he could see Tammy several times a day. At that time, she worked for the Springville Parks Department, and Chad worked at the cemetery for 2 years, and then he moved on and began working as the assistant city director for BYU's newspaper, The Daily Universe. In fact, today I just tweeted in Facebook an old article I found online about Chad that's still up on BYU's website. So check that out if you're on there. So April 24th, 1989, Melanice, who otherwise known as Melanie Cope, is born to Lori's sister, Stacy. And in March 9th of 1990, Chad and Tammy got married in Manti, Utah. And they were married for 30 years before he murdered her or allegedly murdered her. And they have 5 kids and 3 grandkids. The last count, I don't know if there's any more grandkids at this point. So a year later, June 12th, 1991, Lori graduates high school. And in 1992, Chad graduates BYU with a major in journalism. and he took a job as a copy editor and headline writer with the Standard Examiner in Ogden, Utah. The same year, 1992, Lori marries her first husband, who was a boyfriend from high school. She was still a teenager, and they divorced shortly after. And Lori moves away from Rialto, California, to Austin, Texas, and that's when she starts taking cosmetology classes. In 1993, Chad said he had a second near-death experience after being hit by a wave in La Jolla Cove, California. He said his spirit visited his deceased grandfather, who showed him future events. This caused his veil that separates the mortal life from the spirit world to stay partially open. So he said he felt that he had a foot in both worlds. Then in 1995, Chad was told the Springville Cemetery sexton was due to retire. So he applied and was hired for that. And he said digging graves paid more, and they moved back to Springville.
Wow. So in October 25th, 1995, Lori marries her second husband, which is Colby's biological father. December 17th, 1996, Lori's divorce to Colby's dad is finalized. 1997, Chad said he was shoveling snow at the cemetery and felt the prompting, "It's time to write your book." He said almost immediately the entire plot for An Errand for Emma poured into his head.
Did you read that one?
No.
Do you wanna?
I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good. Hey, we all voted. Everybody said you had to read the next one.
No. Dude,
So May 25th, 1998, Stacy Cox Cope, which is Melanie's mom and Lori's sister, dies of diabetic shock at the age of 31.
We'll kind of get into that a little bit more later. There was a lot of stuff surrounding that. One thing we've consistently heard is that her family didn't bother to come back from Hawaii when she died.
Yeah.
And also that there's a possibility that Alex was using her credit card right after she died and racked up a lot of debt.
Yep. So Melanie was 9 at the time.
It's a really influential age to lose your mom, and the divorce was surrounded in a lot of drama. So
yeah. So 2001, Chad gives an interview about his job as a sexton. In the interview, he says, "Sad times are always when you have to bury babies. That's always a
poignant."
I'm like stuttering over here.
That's okay. It's getting late. It's 8:36 for us. We're old.
Moment.
That's chilling. That's so chilling because to say that, what year was that?
2001.
2001, and knowing what we know now.
Yeah.
For him to say it's a poignant moment, and then it's something that he willingly does to two innocent children just blows my mind. But
yeah, exactly. So 2001, Lori marries Joe Ryan, which is Tylee's father, and they marry in Hawaii. Joe was a Navy veteran. He served 4 years in an electronics job and was ranked E5. No, sorry, I got a little tickle in my throat. September 24, 2002, Tylee Ashlyn Ryan is born to Lori and Joe. Joe had a hair salon built onto the house so Lori could work and still stay home with Tylee. I mean, it sounds like a cool guy, right?
Yeah, and that's one thing is today I've been going back through all those custody documents about Joe Ryan. And, I know that Colby alleges that he was molested by Joe, and it is not my job to doubt Colby at all. That is his experience, and I will never call him anything, except to say that was his experience. But I have to say, Joe Ryan pegged Lori so early, and all of his revelations were revealed in September of 2019 when his daughter was murdered. I'll just say that. Joe fought so hard. We're going to get into that, but I just had to say I have cold chills right now. Everything he said about Lori, including a lot of the professionals, they were spot on about her.
Yep. So March of 2003, Chad's books are pulled from Desert Bookstore shelves due to a scene in Chasing Paradise where a warrior angel dropkicks a naughty spirit through a wall. What kind of books are these? March 1st, 2004, Chad and Tammy founded Spring Creek Books, a publishing company. Tammy was the chief financial officer and designed book covers. On the website, it says their objective is to publish high-quality, uplifting products that will strengthen and bless the lives of families. The company only publishes material that supports the values of the LDS Church.
That statement did not age well at all.
Well, you think, did he start this publishing company because his books got pulled?
Maybe that way he could write what he wanted.
Yeah.
I mean, you can go on the Wayback Machine and see the early days of his website. It's very interesting stuff. Yeah, but I do think maybe that was his way around publishing what he wanted.
Yeah. So in 2004, Lori is on Wheel of Fortune and wins $17,500.
Yeah, and we have that on our YouTube channel, actually. I should retweet that out. Yeah. Also, before we go any further, I just want to say a lot of this stuff was pulled from previous notes that we had, but I also want to give a shout out to Annie Lytics, which is Tylee Ryan's aunt. She has an amazing timeline online. We're going to link that in the description. Justin Lum, Fox 10 Phoenix, Nate Eatan from East Idaho News. I've relied mainly on those three individual websites and just to verify things that I wasn't sure about. So I just want to say those three have been on it since the beginning and just want to put that out there.
Yep.
So 2004, the same year that she won Wheel of Fortune, she's a contestant in the Miss Texas pageant. And she's a semifinalist, but she doesn't make it to the final round. If you remember, we went on the Wayback Machine early on in this podcast and actually were the first ones to find her pageant photos.
Yep.
So August 13th, 2004, Trouble in Paradise, Joe Ryan files for divorce from Lori in Hays County, Texas. And to say that a nasty custody battle starts to take place is a major understatement. Joe would end up spending over $75,000 litigating custody issues with Lori, and that lasted up until he died. They were technically still battling custody when he died. Now, you have to think, what if Lori had done the right thing and allowed Tylee to have a relationship with Joe and then also with Charles? $75,000 would have went a long way in better ways for Tylee's future than just in and out of court. It just always blows my mind when I see that amount, but these issues are expensive.
Yep.
So Lori's sister Summer actually was interviewed by detectives on October 1st, 2020. And this was interesting. And I put this here because we're in the middle of all her marriages. She said Lori was a very private person. Even though Lori had been married several times, she was never invited to any of her weddings. That's very odd to me.
It is weird.
I mean, understand maybe your first two, you're young and dumb and you just jump in. Yeah. But like Joe Ryan and Charles, those are more adult marriages. I mean, anyways. So I found this interesting, and I found this on East Idaho News in March of 2005. So this is, Joe files for divorce August 13th, 2004. March 2005, East Idaho News puts this up. Lori files for bankruptcy while she's divorcing Joe. And at the time, she was working as a hairstylist. She said she had $723,815.45 of debt owed to creditors. $99,003.89 of that was owed with Joe Ryan in the form of federal and county tax debts.
Wow.
She listed her credit card debt as $17,000. And between 2003 and 2005, she claimed to have made $41,000. But she said she was short of the amount she needed to take care of Tylee and Colby on her own. And she estimated she would need to make $74,400 a year to do that. At this point, she's receiving $1,500 a month in child support from Joe, which is a lot back in 2005.
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
For two kids, that's a lot.
Yeah.
And
so now is time for our next partner, our sponsor. So our next partner has a product that I have been using literally every day.
Me too.
I started taking AG1 mainly because I wanted to boost my immune system. and start to build up a better overall gut health. Athletic Greens is now a part of my everyday health routine.
Yeah, it definitely promotes better health. I eat really bad. This is perfect for me because I'm not a good eater. And Athletic Greens was actually created when the founder experienced a ton of gut health issues and ended up on all these supplement routines to recover, which cost him $100 a day. So he created Athletic Greens after experiencing how difficult it was to create an optimal nutrition routine on your own. So what's in this stuff?
So with one delicious scoop of AG1, you're absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens to help you start your day right. I will tell you, I just went on a weekend trip and AG1 was so easy to take with me. I was able to make healthy choices while also vacationing.
Yeah, I mean, that's awesome. And that's exactly why Athletic Greens has over 7,000 five-star reviews and is recommended by professional athletes. Right now, it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. One scoop in a cup of water every day, and that's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health.
So to make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1 year supply of immune supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/whattheworld. Again, that is athleticgreens.com/whattheworld to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance.
Yeah, and we're grateful for their support. This is one of the reasons we're able to do this. But really, guys, I have a terrible diet. This has helped me a lot. I think it's actually /whattheworld.
Yep. Did I say back?
That's okay. But no, you guys check it out. I love it. It's really easy. And then I don't feel like I'm just not eating and,
Yep.
doing bad. All right. So back to it.
Okay, round 2. Name something that's not boring.
A laundry? Ooh, a book club. Computer solitaire, huh?
Ah, sorry, we were looking for Chumba Casino. That's right, ChumbaCasino.com has over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Did we talk about the rental property?
Yeah, you're on in the court documents.
Yeah. So she shared her monthly budget in the court documents. All right. This we'll go through them. Rent, $1,900. Utilities, $500. Home maintenance, $50. Food, $700. Clothing, $100. Laundry and dry cleaning, $100. Medical expenses, $250. Charitable contributions, $400. Insurance, $140. Car payment, $500. Business expenses, $1,568 for a total of $6,200 and an income of $5,200. So she was in the negative, according to her, $1,000 a month.
Wow. So May of 2005, Lori and Joe's divorce is final.
Yeah. And since we're doing bankruptcies, we're going to jump ahead here just a little bit because Chad and Tammy went bankrupt.
Yep. So for Chad and Tammy's 2008 bankruptcy, they owed $202,732.10. And they owed that to over 60 creditors. The majority of those were tied to their Spring Creek book publishing company. They claimed in filings that the books brought in $2,000 a year, but it was decreasing yearly. Their total monthly income together was $3,930 between the publishing company, Chad's job as a part-time gravedigger, and Tammy's job at the school. Their mortgage was $135,900. So in February of 2006, February 24th, Lori marries Charles Vallow in Vegas. And remember,
I thought it was Hawaii. Maybe I made a boo-boo on that.
I thought they all got married in Hawaii, but
yeah.
This second I got a cough.
So after they get married, we're jumping ahead a little bit. They do adopt JJ in 2014, and JJ's dad is the nephew of Charles Vallow. So it was an in-family adoption.
Yes. So August 8th, 2006, Lori files a police report saying that Joe molested Tylee and Colby. Joe requested a jury trial, which we've talked about that before. That was big.
To request a jury trial, I mean, you're willing to go up there and tell 12 people your side of the story.
Yeah. So there's a huge custody battle that lasts until Joe died.
Yeah.
And you have to think, like, he really wanted to spend time with her,
Oh, yeah, he did.
To spend all that money. I mean, he could have very easily just threw in the towel and just, but he kept fighting.
And you think about it too. He moved to Arizona to be close to her. And then the thing that really breaks my heart to think about is, and we'll learn later at different points, it was recommended Joe get custody of Tylee. How things might have been, obviously would have been very different had she been raised by Joe than Lori, because Lori is responsible for her murder.
Yep. So Charles supported her in this fight. But you have to think, he was happily married to Lori at the time and loved Tylee. He's only hearing one side, which is orchestrated by Lori. And we've discussed this. We've never faulted Charles for the custody battle.
No.
He was financially able to fight this, and Lori took full advantage of that. Charles thought Tylee was in real danger from Joe, and his intentions were good.
Yeah, definitely. Also, if Lori gets custody, she gets child support. And I think that was a big motivator for her. And not only to mention that she's free to move anywhere she wants. I really think when she married Charles, she knew he had the means to probably take her to Hawaii, which he did. That's where she seems to be drawn to. But initially, there was a 100-mile limit of how far apart that Joe and Lori could be to facilitate visitation on a regular basis. So I think Lori had a lot of intentions, none of them that were pure, in getting Joe off the map, so to speak. And I mean, if you think about it, Tylee is just put right in the middle by her mom at a very, very young age. Tylee's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 when all this is going on.
Yeah.
And they end up and have to bring in all these guardian ad litems. And that's kind of a last resort when parents just can't meet in the middle and agree on reasonable visitation, reasonable child support. There are several guardians in and out of this case throughout the duration of it. And that just speaks volumes. We were contacted last year by one of Tylee's guardian ad litems, Tom Ware. And there was some stuff floating around online about him at the time that seemed suspect. But after we talked to him for almost 4 hours, you really got the full story and realized that Tom Ware and Vivian both, his partner in this, had Lori pegged and really had Tylee's best interest at heart.
Yep.
It's really sad stuff. So at times, Tylee would be asked by court-appointed professionals if her dad ever hurt her, and she would say no. But in one report, it said when Tylee made this statement, Lori's jaw dropped and her eyes widened, and she appeared shocked. And the person noted Lori didn't seem fearful she was in trouble, more that she was shocked by Tylee saying no, her dad had never hurt her, which, I do think there was some coaching going on there. And at one point, a professional wrote that Lori thought Tylee was the reincarnation of her dead sister, Stacy. And this is way back in 2007. So you can see how these ideas that were a little extreme started way earlier than what we thought before these custody documents came out.
Yep.
So Tylee would say that Joe was her old daddy and Charles was her new daddy. And Lori just failed to let Tylee love them both and get like a bonus dad and have double the love, double the support. But she chose to alienate Tylee from Joe. And that causes so much harm later in life to kids, depression, low self-esteem, major trust issues, things like that. And at one point, a professional said Lori needed to stop chats with Tylee, referring to Daddy Joe as a molester. So they wanted Lori to complete a psychiatric and psychosexual examination. And at one point, a guardian ad litem recommended that Lori only be allowed supervised visits with Tylee until all this could be resolved. And I think at one point, foster care for Tylee was even recommended. And at this point, Tylee's around 5. And here's the thing, a guardian ad litem, they have no dog in the fight. They want what's best for the kid. And when you read this stuff from years ago, it's just kind of like, whoa.
Yeah. Yeah. So the same guardian recommended that Tylee have regular contact with Joe for extended periods of time to rehabilitate the relationship. At one point, Joe was allegedly late with child support, so Lori withheld visitation, and that's a big no-no with the courts.
You know what, though? I think that was brought up at her initial hearing in Hawaii, at her bail hearing, where he was pointing out she has a history not only of not producing the kids, but defying court orders as far back as 2007.
Exactly.
Came back to haunt her a little bit.
Yeah. So in emails, Joe says child support and visitation are separate issues. He also said he wanted to raise Tylee as Christian, and we know Lori was already going off the rails a bit at this point with her LDS beliefs. At some point, there's a jury trial in 2007, and Lori gets sole conservationship.
You had it, girl.
Yeah, I said it right.
Yeah, you did.
Of Tylee. Joe felt there was no evidence that Lori was the fit parent at the time. He also says Tylee wasn't asked about what she wanted. The molestation issue was pending, and Joe thought that was working in Lori's favor, even though so far no one of the professionals who had examined Joe felt he was a predator. Vivian Lewis, she was a 32-year registered sex offender therapist who was brought on in the case. She was gravely concerned regarding the reactions of the recommendations in the report by Lori. She fears there's imminent danger of Lori being a flight risk, and Miss Vallow is a devout Mormon who has mentioned to me that death will be an option before giving Tylee to her father, even for a visit. She says these are real and serious concerns, and that she has no way of knowing if Miss Vallow was serious, but these are a close repeat of her statement to me.
Yeah. And she also says in her opinion that believing Miss Vallow bringing the child to the courthouse or surrendering the child to Joe Ryan most likely is not going to happen. She recommended Joe get custody of Tylee. She recommends a constable and a social worker or Tylee's guardian ad litem, Tom Ware, who Tylee had met, go to the home and get the child due to the imminent nature of a potential flight risk, or worse, with this mother being so adamant that Tylee is being hurt by her father, it makes the likelihood of her cooperative delivery of the child most unlikely. And at this point, Lori has specific dates that she has to let Joe see Tylee. It's court ordered, and people go to jail for defying these orders. But yeah, Lori was like Teflon Don. She was able to kind of skirt around all this.
Yep.
So we're just going to finish here in the next few paragraphs. There's a lot with the tasing incident, some documents that we'll get into on tomorrow's episode. But remember, at this point, the court they haven't ruled anything on Joe being a predator or a danger to Tylee, so they can't make any ruling based on hypothetically what could happen or what he allegedly did. There was a recommendation for overnights, and due to the allegations that a chaperone stay with them overnight and possibly a motion detector with a light at the end of the hall as a safeguard, we don't really know if that was ever implemented. And so that's kind of where we're going to end today, because this is going to be a very long series, but we kind of went back and forth about how much of the custody battle we were going to include in this. And today, Fruit Loop and I were talking, it shows a pattern from a long time ago and at an age that's so impressionable with Tylee that all day long I've been freaking out trying to get this custody stuff down. And I'm glad we're going to cover it, because I also think that it gives Joe a voice, and it shows that he tried everything. And the poor guy, if you compare his driver's license photo, like from the previous one before his very last one, he was spent. He looked unhealthy. He looked defeated. And we've always said if she didn't physically kill him, she killed his spirit.
Yep.
Horrible stuff. So tomorrow we are going to get into where there's a tasing by Alex, and you all know it, but we're going to do this from the ground up. We're going through it all.
Yep.
So, yeah. So thank you guys for tuning in. Share it with people who you think might want to get the backstory on all this and get caught up. And we appreciate you guys, and we will see you soon.
With Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to... Has anyone seen the bride and groom?
Sorry, we're here. We were getting lucky in the limo and we lost track of time.
No, Lucky Land Casino, with cash prizes that add up quicker than a guest registry.
In that case, I pronounce you lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Daily bonuses are waiting. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Judy was boring.
Hello.
Then Judy discovered ChumbaCasino.com.
It's my little escape.
Now Judy's the life of the party.
Oh, baby, mama's bringing home the bacon.
Whoa, take it easy, Judy. The Chumba life is for everybody. So go to ChumbaCasino.com and play over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.